009 440 981. And you can also tweet at Smooth981. We're streaming live on our YouTube channel as well. So just subscribe, catch the live stream, and you can even post a comment on there. It's Smooth981. Quite a bit to talk about today. A cashless Christmas, top of the list, of course. And our special guest this morning is Oladele. She is the CFA founder, the Money Wit Club. Good morning, Ola. Merry Christmas and welcome to Business.
Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So for some Nigerians, it hasn't exactly been so merry as a result of the cashless situation. Why are Nigerians facing this cash scarcity at this particular time?
So you know, the thing is, at least for me personally, historically towards this time of the year, there's usually POS transactions tend to fail, transfers tend to fail, and people usually always want to have cash. So even if I don't withdraw cash at any other time of the year, towards Christmas, I always withdraw cash and hold. So I think one of the things that is happening right now, there's a significant increase in the amount of cash that people are demanding. And at the same time, for whatever operational reasons, there's a shortage of cash in the system. So it's one of those economic things of demand versus supply. And for whatever reason, poor planning or whatever, we are where we are, where legitimately banks not have enough cash to deliver to people.
Now, I mean, we've lived in Nigeria for years, and I can't exactly say I can recall this happening, perhaps maybe late last year with the Naira redesign. But why is this happening right now in the past 2 years? It's never happened for decades before.
So last year was special. There was some sort of transition that was special. I think what has happened between last year and this year is that the amount of cash in circulation has legitimately reduced on the back of that event last year. So people have gone back to their normal spending, but the amount of cash in circulation is not enough to meet it. That's simply what it is. So there's some form of planning that's got caught in, that we are getting caught in, but it's something that is a fallout from last year.
So what's the impact of a lack of cash, particularly at this time?
Oh, well, first of all, there's always that option of doing a transfer if you want to make a payment. So I think the first thing is that for people that want to sell, they also have to embrace electronic transfer some way or the other. But for those who are cash-based entirely, for example, the people that you would naturally tip, people that don't have bank accounts, this is a very, very dry period for them. Because I mean, I got accosted by someone recently, and I'm like, oh God, there's no cash. I don't have cash. So even if I was going to give you anything, I don't have anything. And he couldn't argue. So I could just imagine the number of people that would give him that same reason that would ordinarily have probably given him a 1K or a 2K there. Right. So for people who are fundamentally cash driven or cash supported, this is going to be a very dry season for them.
Now, the CBN is warning the banks, it's warning the POS operators against cash hoarding. And it makes you wonder, are there really players in this sector that are somehow, in some way, benefiting from this scarcity?
Of course, and every challenge poses an opportunity for someone else, right? So that they are benefiting from it doesn't mean that they are the cause of the problem. All POS operators right now are in the money. They're making lots of money. Why? Because you have to just patronize them. So their demand is high, right? And then because there's a scarcity factor, you are paying a higher premium than you ordinarily would to get cash from them, right? But yes, one man's meat is another man's poison, but they're not the ones that created the poison in the first place. They are just positioned to benefit from it. But I would say, I think that if the central bank is warning, they should also come out to say how these people are actually hoarding, because it hasn't happened in previous years. So what's different about this year that makes them empowered to hold the whole nation to ransom?
Can a move to e-transactions provide a possible escape route from this?
Of course, definitely. But yes, we still need cash. Like there's nowhere in the world where you should have scarcity of your currency. Like print it, right? So you just print it. We shouldn't be having scarcity. But of course, as a nation, if we move towards electronic transactions, the more we move towards that, of course, these kind of things will have less of an impact. But fundamentally, society, we should have cash. So there needs to be some sort of planning, some sort of data-driven positioning in terms of how much cash do we really need to make sure that we are not under, because it's our currency, we are Nigerians, we can't be begging for our own currency or be managing our own currency. It shouldn't really happen.
Now, looking at how 2023 has been, some Nigerians have faced significant challenges. And I'm wondering, is there like a silver lining on the horizon somewhere?
Um, so the way I see it, right, is there would always be a silver lining, but it will always be personal. You know, when I say personal finance is personal, right? This is one of those situations where um we almost cannot say on a general scale that there will be a silver lining. But the fact is the world's a global village. If you're able to position yourself to tap into other economies or to provide solutions that um other people will pay for, whether they're in Nigeria or not. The fact is that your silver lining is almost maybe platinum or gold, right?
Mm.
As against saying as a country there's a silver lining, let's know for a fact that people abroad are also struggling. Inflation is a global phenomenon right now. People losing their jobs, people being thrown out of their properties, a global phenomenon right now. So it's not just peculiar to Nigeria. The whole gas thing is not just peculiar to Nigeria. Such that if you want to create that silver, if you want to have that silver lining, you probably have to create it yourself. But yes, there will be people that will come out of 2024 very, very happy. And I mean, even if you invested in stocks in Nigeria, you'd have been very happy this year. So there's always that thing. You have to find it. It won't just be there waiting for you to pick up like on the surface. You have to look for it.
All right, you're listening to Business Express on Smooth 98.1. Our guest is Oladele from the Money Wits Club. We're talking about, well, money and everything related in Nigeria. If you have a question, a comment, this is the time. WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. You can also tweet at Smooth981. And we're streaming live as well, so you can catch that live stream up on our YouTube channel. It's Smooth981. Message from Tayo says, and Merry Christmas to you, Tayo. Tayo says, POS operators will always have cash, but ATMs don't. I wonder how this misnomer is functioning in the country. We are being held to ransom. Ola, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I do. But I mean, POS operators would always have cash. Yes, because they have time to queue. You don't have that time. So that's their business, that's their work. So the question
Oh.
is, why is there no cash in POS? Like, is it possible that the banks are handing over all the cash that they have to the POS operators? It's not likely, right? It's not. So they have time to queue, they would send their boys to queue, they would, what you can't do that.
Right.
Right. And yeah, so if they're giving out 10K, they will round trip over and over to get that. Right. And then there's also the fact that they also work with the people that you are buying from. So there's also that part where, I mean, I've seen that in fuel scarcity situations where you're queuing for fuel and then they say they are not collecting POS, but they're not collecting, you cannot pay with your
Cards.
card, but you would pay to the fuel operator. They would carry the cash and give to the POS operator and it comes back and they are dropping your 100 or 200 on top of each transaction. So there's that. So they've created an economy around themselves. It doesn't mean that they are the cause of the problem because they have time. That's their business, but they are not the cause of the problem.
Okay. Still talking about the hardship. There's a counter narrative based on a lot of the activity happening around the festive season. And there's a tweet from Ugo Dre. Ugo Dre is the founder of Nairametrics. I'm going to read that tweet out. So Ugo Dre tweeted this. I'm struggling to find the economic explanation for the traffic in Lagos and most cities this holiday season. Salons are full, joints no seats, flights fully booked, beaches full of people, markets bursting with buyers and sellers, etc. Even the stock market is at an all-time high. All of these amidst high inflation and slow economic growth. Who can explain this? What do you think about this?
So you know the thing about it's one of those things where I get the vibe. Everybody I'm interacting with is saying, I just need to let out steam. So everything that he has talked about are things that people use to make themselves happy, right? For me, the real test is how people would function in January, how people will be able to recover in January, right? So yes, there's one I just got back that community around. A lot of them are around this Christmas. And there's also the fact that people are like, whatever the case, I am going to party, I'm going to let out steam. This year has been very intense. I need to find something to do. I just need to make myself happy, right? So you find that that's what's happening. That's what's on everybody's lips. And it's not because they have money. It's more like I planned, I must let out steam. And so that's why economics is a social science. It's not just black and white. There's a part where human nature and the need to be sane comes into decision making. Doesn't mean they have all the money in the world.
Mm. All right, coming to projections. Can anyone confidently say, you know what, 2024 is definitely going to be much better than the way 2023 has been?
So on a general scale, I would say it's our leaders that can say that because a lot of these things are driven by policy, right? A lot of these things are driven by government actions, whether on the physical or on the monetary side of things, right? But I also am a firm believer, like I said earlier, that you can't leave your life in the hands of people you can't influence, right? Such that every year would always be better for some people and be worse for some. You just have to get up and decide which side of the divide you want to be on at every point in time. Never before has it been so easy yet so tough to make money. So easy because there's an internet, but it's so tough because your ability to focus needs to be 200 times more than ever before because there's so many things that will be pulling against you to get to that dream, right? So it's one of those I won't say that I'm sure that GDP is going to go to 5% next year. I can't say that, but I can tell you that if you are able to do something that will earn in USD, you'll be better off next year. And there are many things that you can do.
All right, I've got about 30 seconds. What's your advice to listeners on how they can actually financially navigate 2024?
So one thing I always say is that you can't predict what's going to happen in the future, but you can position yourself or shield yourself from impacts and shield yourself from negative impacts and position yourself to benefit from the things that would happen. Why do I say that? It's all about positioning at every point in time. So if you are able to save, you can save yourself from shocks. Nobody knows what price is going to jump up next year. But if you're saving, you can accommodate shocks, you can accommodate emergencies. And another way also is in terms of investing, right? You talked about the stock market doing very well this year. Some people's money has doubled, while some people are complaining, right? So saving and investing has never stopped being the rule. 2024 is a blank check and an opportunity to actually start if you haven't already. Let's write off this year and dirty December and everything. January, you start on a new slate. The rules still remain the same. Saving, investing, insurance. Those are the three things that will get you by.
All right, thank you for that. We're going to look at a few messages. This is from Benga. Benga says, don't underestimate the bank's capacity for deviousness. We know they have relationships with POS operators. Those POS operators don't even need to queue. Tayo says, also ration the amount dispensed. I hope CBN uses this opportunity to drive a cashless economy. Social behavior is always seasonal and changing. Let January start. The explanation will be clear. Dele from Aja says, to answer Ugo's question, Nigeria needs to provide and enlarge its supplies in all sectors to meet Nigeria's growing demands. Well, thank you for your messages. Thanks for listening. Merry Christmas to you, by the way. And thank you,
Merry
Ola, for being
Christmas.
on the show this morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye-bye.